This holiday season, every time you purchase a 12-ounce SnortBucks coffee, a portion of the proceeds will be given to the Penny Foundation, the world's premier charity dedicated to helping down-on-their-luck content creators pay their daily bills.
I need that money. I really do. I need that money. I need my bills, the electric bill, the internet bill.
So stop by your local SnortBucks today and help send some penny their way.
So season's greetings and happy holidays from everybody here at GTG Network and Productions, the Snort Report, DSPNEWS, SnortBucks Coffee Company, the best beverage company, Hard Snorts Gin and Tonic, and Tim Snortons. Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Welcome to 12 days of Goutmas, or not 12 days till Goutmas, it's 12 days of Goutmas, part of 25 days of Goutmas and whatnot. I will be your host on all this, so hopefully you guys are all doing well. So, small announcement. I'm pretty sure I've already said this in a previous video to actually start this off, but if I haven't, there'll be two playlists this year. There'll be the 25 days till Goutmas playlist, which will have everything in order, and then we'll have a dedicated 12 days of Goutmas, just in case you guys want to just go directly towards that. I think it's called like Goutmas like 2025 or something along those lines. You'll be able to find it. It shouldn't be too difficult. In any case, just want to put that out there as a PSA. So, with that, ladies and gentlemen, being said, let's get to the fun stuff. So, as you know, it's part of 25 days or 12 days of Goutmas. We're being acquainted, or reacquainted, I should say, with a very old friend of the channel, SnortBucks. Haven't done any SnortBucks content over the span of the year, which is crazy. It's been crazy and whatnot. I've been working Diggs and Asian GTG and Kev like dogs this year. Like goddamn dogs. It's fucking crazy. Anywho. 12 days we'll have a mismatch, some SnortBucks. We'll have some memology in there, and we'll see what else. But at the very least, those two will be in the mix. And we're gonna go over a classic and whatnot, as well as some current stuff. But we're gonna go over some classics. And in particular for today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go back to 2018 when DSP got fired from Curse. This is going to be very, very fun. So the Curse situation is yet again DSP fucking around and finding out after about 18 months, 16 to 18 months of being on Curse, after he unceremoniously got his ass kicked off of Machinima. But I don't know if at this particular time, by this particular point, I should say, he's already said that it was a mutual breakup, or he tried to do that later. He said that he left Curse, he left Machinima, that if you guys are going to treat me this way, I don't want to be here. They were like, all right, then there's the door. Good luck to you. And later on, he tried to spin that shit in his usual DSP spinning way. But then he goes to Curse. He said Curse was better because that's what DSP do. He'll hoe. And every time he jumped from one pimp to another, he's constantly saying, oh, they treat me so much better here. They appreciate me here. They love me and my content. The same bullshit that he did when he was on Twitch. Nonsense. Because he hoe. And only hoes do that shit. And after 18 turbulent months over there, despite the fact that he was getting a 90-10 split, views were still at an all-time low. They were tanking when he was on Machinima, and they kept continuing to tank as he spent his time on Curse. He said it was a mutual breakup. He said the trolls were on 24 we were running 24-hour ops to have him kicked off, and they had this one person dedicating 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day, whatever the fuck, to fight off these troll reports. He tried to do some major scumbag con artist shit and say, well, if you know that these are all just troll, reports, why can't you just ignore them? And they were like, and after that, I think that's when they really were like, yeah, we need to get rid of this guy. We need to get rid of this guy. Honest people don't say stuff like that. to just disregard shit so I can keep going. Anyway, there's a whole rigmarole. And it was a whole rigmarole. It's been a very long time since I've seen this, so I assume at least some of the stuff that I spoke about will be in this, so you can think of it as some pre-game eggnog, if you will. Or whatever the case may be, whatever your holiday drink of choice is. And that's what our situation is. That's what our scenario is. So without further ado, thank you for coming to my holiday TED Talk. Let's go ahead and move on to our scenario. So let's go ahead and let's get our balls on the table. No pun intended. DSP doesn't have many, so don't expect much out of him. Oh boy. And let's give you guys proper introductions, and then let's move along positively. I will try to have timestamps in these because this is 12 days. I'll try to have that done. Don't hold me to nothing, but I'll try to. I'll try to. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here with the one and only Snort Burnell, DSPGaming, fired from Curse, DSPGaming channel in Jeopardy, and kogaming, the new hope. Oh, like this is Gouty Star Wars. This is from July 21st of 2018. Weeks. Long time, ladies and gentlemen, long time. Those are good times back in those days. Those are good times. Anywho, without further ado, I don't smell no holiday bacon cooking. Let's go ahead and move along with that. And season's greetings and happy holidays, all of you, yet again. And here we go.
This is how to play the game! Oh my god! What the fuck?
Holy shit! That is an epic fucking intro, dude.
And I have to warn everyone, warning, what you may see right now is going to be absolutely disgusting.
Sorry, I'm doing this. I had no plans on doing anything like this whatsoever. At all.
I know you're lying.
I told you guys I can't win. Like, no matter what happens, there's another thing. And I'm so tired of it at this point. And now, there's something that's been going on for like 2 months that I gotta tell you guys about that I didn't want to tell you about. I was hoping that I could just not have anyone involved, but now I have to fucking do this. Instead of playing games, I have to do this shit with you.
And see, here's the thing. That's why, like, I try to tell y'all, I'm sure most of my peers do too, that what DSP does isn't new. Like, to be honest with you, anything that you've seen over the last few years, if not further, is something that he's done before. And when DSP's back is on the baby, when his baby backs are on the grill, right, he'll always run to the internet because the internet always provides in a strange sort of way. In a strange sort of way. So trust me, anything that you've seen out of DSP to some degree is not particularly new. It's something that he's already regurgitated, recycled, reused, or respun at one time or another. It's just what he does. It's just what he does. And for some of you who may not have been around for some of this, the black shirt begging videos and whatnot, you don't see much of those anymore. Well, he does them. It's just he doesn't have the straight black shirt anymore. Those were fantastic stuff. If you go back and look through Snort Burnell's library, you'll find it. You'll find it. There's a bunch of them. There's a bunch of them. He did it for years. It was, you know how DSP likes to give you guys the meme, oh, doom and gloom, all the skies falling, this, that, and the third. That's what those black shirt videos were. That's what he was doing when he taped those things. He was at his worst possible moment. He damn near makes it seem like he was going to die at any time. And so he went ahead and put on the black shirt like he was going to a funeral or preparing for his own funeral. And that's when he went ahead and had his little hat and his hooves, and he got to begging. And it always worked. Yet again, the internet provides. So, and it's because of situations like that is the reason why most people don't advocate for troll tipping or donations and whatnot. He's far more entertaining seeing him squirm because he doesn't have anything coming in and he doesn't know where the next beg is going to carry him or what's it going to bring him or where it's going to take him. You know what I mean? Something about it.
You guys and tell you what's going on, and I'm just so done with it. I'm so angry and upset and everything. Like, I'm so frustrated right now.
And see, if you look at this, remember, this is 2018, so peep the date. You don't see the snort sacks, but they were always there. That's the crazy part about the snort sacks. Big ups to Silent Weapon. They were always there, and because of the quality of his camera was so shit, and that he didn't know how to use the camera properly, it hit it. It hit it until he updated his peripherals in air quotes, and that's when you could see how the years were really bad for him. How how the wear and tear on him, if you will, was really taking effect. It's super fascinating. It's really, really interesting going back and looking at the old stuff.
So as you guys know, I have a partnership on Twitch, here on Twitch, where I live stream, and I have a partnership on YouTube for my YouTube channels, right? And I make money various ways. On Twitch, it's
end up losing that Twitch thing 3 years later. 2021, I believe we end up losing that Twitch nonsense. Oh, look at that screenshot. Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. The desperation of 2018. Holy shit.
based off of
Begging.
mostly your contributions. You know, when you guys come on stream and you cheer, sub, or tip, that's what keeps me going. Yes, I run advertisements on Twitch, but the income I make on those is very negligible. It's the last thing that I think of. On YouTube, I'm 100% dependent on ad revenue. Now, the good news is, in the last year, that I have, like I said, focused mostly on Twitch. And so because of that, I built my Twitch viewer base, and honestly, Twitch is my main source of income every month. But, that being said, YouTube still makes me good money.
Now, in hindsight, great screenshot. In hindsight, we have a much better understanding, right? Because think about it. He was making, because Secret Limited and Eddie B, and Eddie B did like a small collaboration where they did like a tally of what he made at the end of 2017. And it was like, and they took in what information they could, and then they made some assumptions on other things. So, but they didn't include that into the main amount. And he was at between 94 and like $98,000, obviously before taxes, and then obviously Patreon and some other things could be locked in there as well. So you're making that much money.
It means I can't pay my bills.
And yet you're sitting here scrounging to get this depleted, you're trying to scramble for these depleted resources on YouTube, when, excuse me, back in those days, the begging on Twitch was carrying the day. Now that we have a much better understanding of his gambling addiction, his spending addiction, his alcoholism, and then keep in mind, Kat has just entered her imprisonment. I'm sorry. She has just entered her soulmate saga. That was back in February of 2018. You can see why we were in this mad scramble. Keep in mind, Kat allegedly had a job when she was leaving Michigan to go over to Seattle. That wasn't true. It took like 2 months, maybe even 3 months for her to finally get a job. And if she was transferring from one job to another, womp womp, it shouldn't have taken that long. And I don't know many places that would let you have that much time, especially in retail. But semantics, anything's possible. If a vortex teaches you anything, anything is possible. So this mad scramble for cash is insane. It's insane. But yet again, in 2025, with a whole lot of hindsight, we have a much better understanding of what his spending addiction is. Remember, we're 3 years until he loses the Twitch partnership situation, 2 years from the bankruptcy. Remember, bankruptcy happened end of 2022, or end of 2020, I'm sorry. And then he ends up losing the Twitch partnership in 2021. So just keep in mind, I just want to give you guys a very crude timeline of our situation.
to the point where it's still a significant large chunk of income that I make.
I need that money to pay my bills. I need that money. I really do. I need that money to pay my bills.
Oh man, the memes back in those days flew so fucking easily too. Not like now. DSP has learned how to try to starve his detractors, trolls, haters, and critics out. But back in those days, just about anything could be memeable. Just about. Holy shit.
And I rely on that money
In order to pay my bills and do stuff. I didn't have YouTube income, I would not be able to pay my bills. And that's why people...
So then what were you doing with the Twitch income? And which people said that back then too. Don't get me wrong. I was one of the people who did it as well. You know what I'm saying? How is it that you were making all this money on Twitch? And he said Twitch was his primary income, but YouTube was still useful. If he didn't have YouTube, he wouldn't be able to pay his bills. Then what the fuck are you spending your money on? Womp womp.
People ask me all the time, Phil, why do you still put up with YouTube? You say that you don't like YouTube and all their bullshit, okay? And the bottom line is, why do you still work with YouTube? Why do you bother with that? Why don't you just focus on Twitch?
Because YouTube's the nest. YouTube was the first thing to ever really provide for him, and he'll never give it up as long as they deal with him, as long as they're willing to deal with him. That's why. It's Old Faithful. He'll never really give it up. And that's why he never strays far from it.
And I really have two answers. Number one,
greed is massively strong.
strong.
I have no fucking self-control.
because there are some people who want to watch me on Twitch and they can't. They can't be around for the streams, or they don't have high enough bandwidth to watch videos or streams here on Twitch. And so YouTube is the only way.
That was a very convenient excuse. And don't be wrong, back in 2018, it was what it was. They may not have been able to see him at the highest quality that he was being able to put out. But trust me, that was a thing. But very convenient excuse, and basically a lie, to be honest with you, because there are people who don't make his YouTube streams now. What's the difference? Really, what's the difference if you think about it? Oh, you can't make it to a Twitch stream, even though he streams at the same time every single day. But somehow when he made the jump to YouTube, or back to YouTube, or he was forced to come back to YouTube, all of a sudden people were able to catch up with him here. Make it make sense.
For them to watch my stuff. And
the reality is that not everybody who was watching him over there had Amazon Prime, which means that he doesn't get a free Prime sub from some of those people. So those people didn't have any value. They didn't have any worth. And most of those people probably weren't going to be able to donate to him anyway. So you guys kind of pick up what I'm putting down. If you had a Twitch Prime, you had some value. If you had a Twitch Prime, if you had a Twitch Prime, you had value. If you were donating, you had value. If you had both, you were riding high on the hog, so to speak. But if you don't have any of those things, you're just an arbitrary number. You're just someone there to click the ads whenever he was willing to do so, and that's pretty much it.
two,
I want more money on top of the money that I already made.
because I've got a long-standing relationship, 10 years. This year, I've been a YouTuber, 10 years. Where I've been able to put out content on YouTube and build a fan base. And it really is those people on YouTube that made me known on the internet, so I don't want to abandon them. 10 years of support for people over on YouTube. All right. But what happened? Well, here's what happened, guys. As you know, DsPgaming is my main YouTube channel where I upload all my gameplay videos. And I do so on a daily basis, and this has been the channel for 8 years, over 8 years, where daily I put my blood, sweat, and tears into putting out gameplay footage for you guys.
What?
And I've had various ways to make money over the years, partnerships. First, I was partnered with Machinima, and then for the last year and a half, I was partnered with Curse Network, okay? Basically, in a nutshell, without going into too much detail...
I'm not partnered anymore. I got the chair.
And this was in the works for a long time. Like, this was actually something that I had multiple discussions with Curse about, and it was actually an amicable way that we were going to end our partnership.
Yeah, he got fired. Great screenshot. He got fired. What he was trying to do was the same thing he did with Machinima, because what is it that I tell y'all? The way DSP does anything is the way he does everything. History has proven me right. DSP basically was trying to convince them to keep him. What Curse did for DSP was the same thing Machinima did. They gave him the heads up. They're like, hey, we're going to give you between 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, whatever it was, to get your shit together and find another place to go. Find another nest to shit in. Right? And that was a courtesy, because they could have just dropped him outright, because Machinima was good for that. But they didn't. They gave him 30, 60 days. He basically spent those days trying to talk to them to see if he could fodagle them or fudazi them back into conning them, basically, to try to let them back in, or let him back in. And When that didn't work, he came to he basically came to YouTube and begged for help. Kersey did the same thing. He spent a month, maybe 2, whatever, to be like, hey, can you guys, can you reconsider? Can we go to a different situation? Can you get, because he wasn't on a managed partnership back then. Can you put me in a managed partnership and maybe that'll shield me? Whatever, whatever. And Curse was like, no, it's not a thing. On top of that, DSP lied and said that, you know, it was because of the trolling, it's all this, that, and the third, which may very well be true, but the actuality of it all is he wasn't making any money to justify keeping him because of the trolling. You know what I'm saying? So maybe it's a half-truth, if you will, whatever you want to call it. But that was the real reason why they let him go. He wasn't bringing any money. He was literally diminishing returns because his views were tanking when he was on Curse too. And yet again, that was just runoff from what was going on Machinima. And he didn't care. He just needed a depository to put his old slop, and he could keep riding high on the hog on Twitch. And my theory is that he was spending crazy. He was running wild with his alcoholism and with his spending habits and his gambling addiction. And YouTube, that YouTube revenue was patchwork. It was supplemental income, if you will. So if he overspent on his the Twitch paycheck, YouTube would help with that. And then obviously Patreon would also be padding as well, if you will. So that's all it was. And like I said, in hindsight, we have a much better idea of how his income works. So now it's easier to put this Gouty quilt together, if you will.
It wasn't any hard feelings on each side. It wasn't like I was mad at Curse or Curse was mad at me. Not like the Machinima situation last year at all. Okay? It wasn't like that whatsoever. Okay? It was very, very different situation. And the bottom line is, I could get into the specifics of why the Curse partnership ended. I don't necessarily think that it's going to benefit anyone to tell you the reasons why.
Here, and I'll go ahead and tell you why that is. I believe that DSP went back to Machinima while he was on Curse to see if he could reapply. It's just a personal theory of mine. It's not a Theo theory, because if it was, it'd be good. But big ups to Theo. But I think he tried to go back to Machinima sometime while he was on Curse. They wouldn't let him. So he realized that, okay, that went ahead and stayed in his oddly shaped head. When this shit with Curse happened, instead of bashing them, instead of being a reactive bitch, which is what he is, he decided to try to be proactive and be like, hey, amicable break. So this way he's not sending anybody to send them hate mail. And then he thought, okay, I'm going to try to stay afloat with Twitch for a little while. And then I'm going to see if Curse takes me back. Now, you guys are probably thinking, well, do you have something that you could equate that with? Surprisingly enough, I do. When DSP got bumped off of Twitch, in 2021. Remember that, right? He got bumped off. He got lost to managed partnership. He lost his ability to monetize. So he thought he could just tread water on Twitch for about 30 days, almost 60 days. And then in the hopes that he would be like, they would let him appeal or even reapply. And then maybe he could at least get back into monetization. That's what he was thinking. I know that's what he was thinking. I'm pretty confident in it. And it didn't happen. And that's why he made the jump to YouTube. Because if not, why wouldn't he have just jumped to YouTube right away? Why sit there and try to tread water, or lack thereof, hoping that Curse does what exactly? Or not Curse, I'm sorry. Hoping Twitch does what? So hopefully you guys see some of the method in my madness, if you will. But that's what my thoughts are. That's what I think he thought he was going to do. So bashing Curse off the rip wasn't going to benefit him if he thought the door could still be open for him to go back.
It basically is a financial decision. Let's put it that way. As you guys know, my channel on YouTube isn't huge anymore.
It's crazy that this guy looked healthier back in 2018 than he does now. Holy shit. He looks like shit now. Like his skin's kind of falling off. His hair is leaving. All that bullshit. He looks like a mess now. I mean, he looked like a mess, you know, here in 2018 as well. But you know what I mean? He looks far better, I guess, here than he does now. It's unfortunate.
Or DsPgaming, even though it brings in between 1 and 2 million views a month, right?
It's funny because the year previously he was pulling in 3 million plus. He lost 1 million plus in a year. That's insane.
Not generating tons of revenue. And keep in mind, a partnership network takes a very, very small cut of what you make ad revenue wise on YouTube. And
Curse took 10%.
Basically, just put it.
I'm still of the theory too that it was Rich that ended up getting him onto Curse. I don't think DSP knows it was Rich though, but I'm pretty confident. I could be wrong though. That wouldn't be the first time, but I'm pretty confident Rich, Review Tech USA, was the reason why he ended up going to Curse and whatnot. I'm pretty confident, but I can't prove it. So that's just a theory of mine. Rich has connections over there. Rich has been, even up till this point, was still trying desperately to get an interview with DSP and whatnot. It kind of falls together if you think about it if you see it from my my perspective.
This way, no wrongdoing on my end or their end. It was just they decided that, you know, that was going to be the end of it. Amicable break, I guess is what you would call, okay? And that being said, you know, I was very uncertain. I've been telling you guys recently, right, that I've been having a...
You can see the tism too. We called it the tism back in the day because that's what it was. Now we just call him, he's just autistic. But like you could literally see the early signs of the tisms here too. Like he always had them, and they've just progressively gotten worse as he's mentally deteriorated. It's really, really insane, to be honest with you.
A lot of stress. I've been having a lot of problems. I say personal problems. What it is, like at night, I can't sleep. I'm thinking, man, what's going to happen when DSPGaming isn't partnered with Curse anymore?
So his drinking revved up. And if you guys have followed DSP long enough, you know that. When DSP has a hard time sleeping, and he always does, that's why he's up until 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, he's drinking. More often than not, I would say easily 5 to 6 days out of the week, he's drinking.
And I have to run my own personal ads. What's the big... Was there going to be a giant difference in ad revenue? You know, I don't know, because I've never done that. You know what I mean?
And there's another thing too, in hindsight, the reason why this idiot kept running to Machinima, well, to all these MCNs, right, is because back in the day, at least with Machinima at the very least, as well as some of the other MCNs too, to be honest with you, they used to have, because they had these exclusive deals with YouTube, they usually had better ads, right? And those ads used to pay more rather than if you ran your own AdSense. But when MCNs fell out of prominence before Ad Apocalypse, by the way, people found that it was negligible. It really wasn't like, yeah, there's a dip for a while, and then after a while it bounces out. But keep in mind, those people were some of the early adopters of getting in sponsorships and endorsements and doing brand deals. Now that's everybody has an opportunity to get into a brand deal on YouTube. But back in the day, that was exclusive for people who were really getting in a lot of traffic. So DSP, because that's how his oddly shaped head works, he thought, well, I have to stay with the MCNs because they're going to pay me the better money. If not, I have to go down to the peasant wages that everybody else had, until he was forced to do it. And then he realizes, oh, it wasn't so bad. But he knew that. He knew that. He knew that the ads really weren't very much different, or they weren't too different, for a couple of reasons. One, as it pertains to whatever MCN that he was on at the time, he was at the bottom of he was at the bottom rung anyway. He didn't have the views to justify him getting the better ads. You know what I mean? So he was getting bare minimum shit either which way. That's why he didn't see a big difference. Two, he just didn't have the traffic or the viewership to warrant it anyway. So even if he was getting the bottom of the barrel ads, he doesn't have double or triple the viewership to make it worthwhile. He should have just gone to running ads on his own a long time ago. But the reality is that it's the prestige. I'm under an MCN. He still held on to that idea that meant something. When he got kicked off of Machinima had already dealt with a purge the year previous. And they did throughout 2017 and a little bit of 2018 as well. So, or people just went to other MCNs. So there's your issue, and there's his issue and problem there. He likes the prestige of being associated with someone. It validates him. It validates what he does. And yet again, ladies and gentlemen, this is why I tell you, DSP will push money to the side for his ego. And if you think about it in hindsight, him being on Machinima for as long as he was a crutch. That's all it was. It didn't help him. It really didn't. And outside of, to be honest, protecting his back catalog, at least for Machinima anyway. When he went to Curse didn't have that much pull. So a bunch of his catalog became basically non-existent anyway. You know what I mean? Like, because all of that shit got claimed. A lot of it did, I should say. You know what I'm saying? I would say, my speculation is, after he left Machinima, I'd say between 40 and 60% of his catalog got claimed. Or was violating some type of copyright or had some type of copyright claim on it. You know what I'm saying? And that right there explains, and if my line of thinking is true, then that explains a lot as it pertains to his dip in income. And it also explains, and maybe even justifies, why the begging was as insane as it was back in those days. It really does tell the tale, if you think about it, which only, ladies and gentlemen, bleeds into his desperation to get Kat there as soon as he could and get her locked in. Something to think about.
I just want to say thanks a lot to everyone. I hope to entertain you in the future.
Please go to my partner channel, The King of Hate HD, and click on the ads that show up on the videos there, because hopefully, you know.
Now, keep in mind, in the last couple of years, DSP denied this ever happened. Womp, 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 womp.
Fingers crossed, that actually starts giving me some money.
I've never done that at all. I've never run personal ads on an active YouTube channel where I'm trying to make money to see how much money I can make. So I have no idea how it would work, right? Silver-tongued talker, right? Oh, I'm just going to say it one way, and hopefully you'll believe it, even though that's not the truth. And that's literally what's happening here. The guy's a liar. The guy's a fucking blatant liar and lying to everyone. But people are believing it because they don't know any better.
And yet again, this oh man, this is why I'm so reference heavy. That right there means a lot, because equate what he said there and then apply it to side scrollers. Matter of fact, let me expand upon that a bit. Think about the whole interview the interview saga or arcs in general. Think about that whole thing here. Let me bring this part back. You know me, I'm gonna go back a little too far because that's what I do.
I can make, so I have no idea how it would work, right? Silver-tongued talker, right? Oh, I'm just going to say it one way, and hopefully you'll believe it, even though that's not the truth. And that's literally what's happening here. The guy's a liar. The guy's a fucking blatant liar and lying to everyone. But people are believing it because they don't know any better.
That, ladies and gentlemen, was projection, because that's literally how he tried to finagle people during the interview saga. He depended on people not knowing enough about him, or the details at the very least, and then he could lie to them any which way in the hope that they would believe it and take him at face value. Whatever it took to get him to whatever his next step was. And if you go back into the old shit, it's all there. All these little, like, go back and through all of SnortBucks, because SnortBucks does these, they still have them, these different compilations of all of their different memes like this right here. Go back and listen to some of those things. And you can equate what you've heard there to what's going on in our present day and what you'll hear in the future. I'm telling you, it's all just a repeat of something that's already happened. There's really not a whole lot that's new, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? It may seem the same, but the methods and the motives are still the same for the most part.
So I went on a break quick before I started gameplay. I said, all right, I'm just going to link it to the AdSense and get the ads enabled in bulk, and we'll see what happens. I go to the channel, and it says, DsPgaming is not valid for monetization because of invalid click activity. Now, wait a minute. 5 minutes ago, I was with Curse Network, and ads were enabled on the channel. So it's obvious that's not the case. There is no invalid click activity whatsoever. What I think happened...
Now, this is when he goes into his little fucking spiel on what he thinks. Now, keep in mind, the reason why we went to Machinima in the first place is because we fucked up our AdSense in the beginning because we told people to click ads. Right. From there and whatnot, we lose our Google AdSense. We run to fucking Blip. We fuck up Blip in the better part of 2 months. It might have been like a month and a half. But he ends up fucking that shit up before he could get into the blistered thumbs deal with that guy with the glasses, which if you look at it now, that guy with the glasses, boy, they were running a brothel. They had a bunch of people who ain't ran through there. Rich was a hoe over there. There was a bunch of people that were hoeing over there. There was a guy, I can't think of his name right now, unfortunately, but he used to do anime reviews, right? I was telling somebody about this, and they were like, oh yeah, they got a Kiwi Farms thread. I was like, what? And then I went over there and read it. I was like, oh man. Anyway, it's not as bad as most, but I was like, oh man. But anyway, he was part of that guy with the glasses for a long time. He was like one of the guys that were there in the end, damn near. There's a lot of guys who ran through that guy with the glasses. Like, holy shit, they were literally Doug was running a fucking brothel over there. For real, for real. Anyway, he was literally on the cuffs of signing a deal with Blister Thumbs. That ended up falling through because Blip let his ass go. He comes back to YouTube. He begs Hutch for a job. Hutch goes ahead and gets him into Machinima. There he goes. Now, keep in mind, throughout all of this, He doesn't have an AdSense. So when he finally gets booted off of YouTube, right, or booted off of Machinima, I should say, he needed a valid AdSense account. He knew he didn't have one. That whole time he was with Machinima, and I said this back then, why didn't he apply to have the why didn't he reapply to get his AdSense back? He could have, he didn't. And the reason why he didn't is because he thought he was going to be on Machinima forever. So he didn't see a need. He didn't see the value or the worth of having an AdSense when, you know, Daddy Machinima was always going to be there. So then he somehow was able to make this transition to get his ass in the curse. This is where I think Review Tech USA comes in there. And they squeeze his ass right in. But then 18 months later, he gets booted off, and he's talking about he's trying to go back to YouTube and go under AdSense on his own AdSense, I should say. And then it says invalid click activity. He's like, well, wait a second, how is that? And that's when you get into this weird thing where he was basically, he had like 2 AdSense accounts or 3 AdSense accounts at once, which is not possible. I don't know about back then, but it doesn't seem like it's plausible unless he was using someone else's AdSense, which could be Panda's. He could have made one under his parents. It's one of those incredibly interesting unsolved mysteries. So, well, it's still speculated upon, but there's no real valid proof. So it's one of those gouty unsolved mysteries that we just haven't completely figured out yet. A lot of good theories, though.
Is that the channel
was linked to an invalid AdSense account. And allow me to explain the situation because it's very confusing.
Meaning that it's a lie, so keep game on it. He could have completely ignored this, but his ego, he has to go ahead and explain everything and try to get in front of everything before someone else starts questioning him in some way, shape, or form, which is kind of the thing that ends up getting his ass in trouble. And my theory is that he over-explains shit. Not only is it word salad, it's empty calories, but he's doing it to try to get in front of stuff because he's so goddamn smart, right? DSP is an intellectual. So he's trying to cover as many bases as possible so there isn't any angles that you can hit him from. Because DSP is not good on the scramble. You know what I mean? His scrambling is as bad as his reactions. It's just not very good, and he shouldn't do it.
I just want to say thanks a lot to everyone. I hope to entertain you in the future.
Please go to my partner channel, The King of Hate HD, and click on the ads that show up on the videos there, because hopefully, you know, fingers crossed.
Now, this is the punchable face that fucking Jaha and Mike Watson should have put the skins to that asphalt, and he got away. And I don't hold nothing against either man, right? Like I said, we found out this year, just in 2025, that Mike Watson was like, "Yo, I saw the tism in him." You know what I'm saying? I saw the tism in him. I thought the guy was autistic. He was right, and so he was like, beating him up wasn't going to do anything. And Jaha, I honestly think, despite Jaha's reputation, and trust me, he's done a lot to earn it. Please believe he's done a lot to earn that shit. He was a no fucks given dude back in those days. He spared DSP. He gave him mercy because there's nothing, you know what I'm saying? 2 or 3 punches and DSP's going to the hospital. You know what I'm saying? Especially the way Marines were built back in Jaha's day. He's going to the hospital. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Is it really worth it? Is it really worth it? And then DSP's a snitch, so he's gonna sing. You know what I'm saying? The canary that could sing but couldn't fly. He's gonna rap. He's gonna rat them all out. So, you know what I'm saying? And as I've quote unquote matured, I understand. I have a better understanding on why. And in a lot of ways, I understand. I understand why they didn't put hands on him. It just wasn't worth it. You know, beating up the autistic guy in the parking lot on his hands and knees, crying about he's an alcoholic. Does it really provide any value? It's like arguing with retards. Is it really a win if your opponent's already at a disadvantage? Womp womp.
That actually starts giving me some money.
Alright, it's very confusing, and I want to explain what happened up front. Last year, YouTube instituted a new policy that if you were going to be partnered with any partnership network, you needed to have a personal AdSense account created and linked to your YouTube channel.
Big up to SnortBucks, like they were on it. SnortBucks back in the day, well, they still are, but they were on it back in those days. Holy shit. I hope that SnortBucks will continue to do that a little more. I mean, they still do it, but they don't do it as often. But for some of those longer videos, I would hope that they'll give more of their input like they used to.
Alright, and once it was linked to your YouTube channel, then you could get partnership through a network. You couldn't just link to a network at all anymore. They completely changed the policy. Okay? Now,
Good reason.
they did this. All right? They did this during a time when I was leaving Machinima and I was going to get partnered with Curse Network. So I already went through this initial setup where, man, I had to create a new AdSense account, link it to the channel, have it show as valid, then...
Yeah, he's literally admitting, this shows you how stupid DSP is. He's literally admitting that he had a fraudulent fucking AdSense account. And like I said, something, like the devil had to be watching his ass. But the reality is, he more than likely just slipped through the cracks. He should have never been able to get on Curse under those stipulations. That should have never have been a thing. But womp womp.
Get linked to Curse Network. And I did that. I did that last year on DsPgaming, and I got linked with Curse, and everything was good for the last year and a half that I've been with them. I had not a single problem. However, okay...
excuse me.
What ended up happening in the last year was that dummy AdSense account that I linked to DsPgaming got deactivated, okay?
And the thing is, most of you are probably like, why is this idiot admitting this? Well, because he's stupid, for one. But two, because he thinks he has justification. That's why he's putting all the blame on YouTube's fucked up system and how they changed, how, you know, how MCNs treated, you know, AdSense accounts and all of this. That's why he's doing it. He believes he can justify it. So that's why we're going about it the way we are.
I don't know why. I don't know if YouTube looked at it and said, oh, well, Phil already has an active AdSense account over on his vlogging channel, right? So he can't have two AdSense accounts, so we need to disable this one. But they did. They basically disabled the AdSense account that was associated with DsPgaming. Now, I didn't know that. There was no way to know that because I was linked with Curse, so I don't even get to see that association on my YouTube panels or channels or anything like that. Okay.
But he could have asked. Just like how, yet again, when he was with Machinima, you know, he could have waited a year or two or whatever. He could have been like, hey, I had a problem with my AdSense account before you guys picked me up. Is it possible that you guys could work with YouTube and work that out for me? I know I'm not going to need it because I'm under your guys' AdSense, but, you know, just so I have that in my back pocket. And they would have done it because they did it for other people. But I also think the reason why he didn't bring it up to Machinima, because he was scared they might drop him. If they found out that he had compromised the Google AdSense account, they were like, well, I don't know, Phil, maybe you should have, you know what I'm saying? You know, because remember, he was on Machinima the second time on someone else's word, Hutch. You know what I'm saying? He was there by his good graces. So he didn't want to rock the boat. And that's probably one of the reasons why he never corrected that situation.
Okay. So, what I think happened is once Curse said, okay, we're releasing your channel, it defaulted back to that old AdSense account, and that AdSense account shows as suspended, so now it just locks the channel and says you can't monetize any videos anymore on DsPgaming. So what does that mean? That means literally no ads. No ads on DsPgaming, okay? I can't put any ads on DsPgaming right now. So literally any video you watch on DsPgaming has no advertisements unless a third party claims the video.
For something I didn't do wrong. I did nothing wrong. I did nothing wrong. I did everything correct. And that means I went from making some money every day to zero. Literally today, zero. All right?
This sucks. Okay? This sucks. And the bottom line is that I can't find another network. Number one, I doubt another network would take me. And number two, another network cannot partner me unless the channel shows as valid for being monetized, which means I need to get the ads re-enabled on the channel.
Now, he's saying, too, because you might have missed it, he said that he didn't know, it didn't show up in his dashboard, no one let him know. So, basically, this change happened while he was on Curse, and he wasn't thinking, because he never does. So, he never looked at using Curse, maybe, just in the same way he could have done with Machinima, to correct the problem and see if they could somehow fix his AdSense. You know what I mean? But it didn't matter because he was running around with another fraudulent AdSense account anyway. So we're still working off of the old one that really was out of commission. And then he was using a fraudulent one too. Wild shit, bro.
I don't know if I can. I don't know. So what I've done, there's an appeal form, and I filled out the appeal form and said, listen, I don't think that you guys disabled this for invalid click activity. You couldn't have because it was active until I de-linked from Curse. What I think happened was there's this invalid AdSense account associated with the channel. I don't want that AdSense account. I have a working one over here that...
But see, here's the thing. All of his information is linked to the first one. So where'd the second one come from? Womp womp.
I want to associate with the channel, right? And I want to do that, but there's no way to do that. The channel just...
Yeah, because you can't have it invalid. You know what? It's funny, now that I love going over the old shit. This is one of the reasons why. I never thought about that. I like to think that it was his parents maybe he made an AdSense account under his parents' information, or his ex-daughter or Panda. But the reality is, you know, he could have been using Cat's information. And why is that? Why would I come to that conclusion that how would he be able to use Cat's information? Give me a second. All right, so peep game on this because I'm coming in hot. So remember some of the stipulations for Catherine to move in, right, was she had to abandon her Twitter, now X. That's ironic, actually, if you think about it. She had to abandon her Instagram, she had to abandon her Twitch, she had to abandon her YouTube, basically all of her social media, right? But she would have if she was partnered at that time. And remember, the stipulations or the criteria for being partnered was way different back in those days. She would have been eligible for an AdSense, or she already had one, if you think about it. So it's very so I can see where SnortBucks coming from and saying that, oh, maybe it's possible that he was using her information as well. It's very possible. I never really thought about that deeply, but you know, all these years later, you know, keep your options open. So that's a thing as well, to be honest with you. But like I said, the criteria for eligibility for an AdSense account at that time was different. So I don't know if she would have theoretically qualified for that. But then again, I never really watched her channel. It's still there, it's still up, but I never really watched her channel, so I don't know if there was ever ads on it. I couldn't tell you. I'm sure there's another detractor that can speak on that, but who could say? But it warrants it's deserving of some type of speculation.
Says not valid for monetization because of invalid click activity, and there's no way to fix that. So I filled out this form explaining that and submitted it. I don't know if that's going to have any success. I have also made an email to YouTube creator support explaining the situation, and
I do agree with this one right here, though, where King of Hate Vlogs and kogaming was under Panda's information and whatnot, which means that he would have he would still have some contact with her, but it's probably linked to his bank or whatever. That would be Bank of America, I think it was. So it is what it is on that. Because we know all of his tips from from Twitch went to PayPal. But his AdSense money from Google more than likely went to Bank of America. Then again, something to think about.
I sent that off. But here's the major problems, all right? Here's the major problems. Number one. All right, number one, YouTube probably will not respond in a timely manner because it's the weekend, and I don't think they even have people who respond to this kind of stuff on the weekends. They very much have this kind of 9 to 5, Monday through Friday mentality. Even though for emergencies, maybe they'll have someone, but I don't know if anyone's going to review this case and respond over the weekend.
Now, that's important. Believe it or not. That little here, let me bring it back for you. I'm going to go back too far because that's what I do. You guys know the routine.
And I don't think they even have people who respond to this kind of stuff on the weekends. They very much have this kind of 9 to 5, Monday through Friday mentality. Even though for emergencies, maybe they'll have someone, but I don't know if anyone's going to review this case and respond over the weekend. That's number one.
Now, if you apply that thinking right there to what happened in 2015 when he sat there and deleted all those pre-streams, right, and whatnot, and he got rid of all of those different videos that had the basically the troll fan art, right? That's his justification for getting rid of all of them. You know what I mean? Because remember, he was under Machinima. He went to Machinima and was like, "Hey, I need help with this." He didn't get a response. It was about a day or two before he heard anything. So he just obliterated everything. By the time Curse came to him, they were like, "Hey, why is your numbers all fucked up? Why are all these videos gone off of the census? You guys didn't get back to me in a timely manner. I thought I was going to lose the channel." This right here is his justification. And keep in mind, this is 3 years after that. This is 2018 we're talking about here. He ain't sat there and fucked over DSPGaming and King of Hate Vlogs, theoretically, back in 2015. So now that right there matches up on why he deleted all those videos in 2015, if you think about it. Or at least his own justification is not real. It's absolutely stupid. He should have let Machinima do their job. If the channel did go down, they would have brought it back up. They did it before, so why would it be any different? But womp womp. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Number two, what do I do? Now, let's say, for example, DSPGaming can never be monetized again, and it's nothing I did wrong. There's no actual invalid click activity. It's just their default nonsense that they say on there when something goes...
No, he was running a compromised account, and he never fixed it. He never corrected it. Even when he had the resources to do it, he still didn't do anything about it.
wrong, I guess.
Please go to my partner channel, The King of Hate HD, and click on the ads that show up on the videos there.
What do I do?
Oh, man.
Right? Like I told you guys, I rely on YouTube ad revenue to pay my bill. I cannot continue to afford what I do if I don't have YouTube ad revenue. I mean, real talk, I think last month...
I'd love to, they won't talk to me, and I don't blame them for that. But if I could talk to the TJ Gamebox, I'd like to know how far he would be able to go back and see DSP's like spending habits over the span of years, if he has access to that. And I'd love to see what his spending was like back in like 2017 up till now. I'd love to see that, because there are definitely going to be large spikes in between. But there's another reason. So let me bring you into the method to my madness on that. If you take that's funny, actually, great screenshot. If you take every stressful moment that DSP has had throughout his illustrious fucking career on YouTube, you go through these different sagas or whatever, right? It makes me think that if, you know, whenever a black shirt begging video, whenever he had a fucking major rant about the tractors, whenever he had a problem with YouTube, where you had those situations, I guarantee you there's a spike in his spending, right? When Panda left his ass, I'd love to see what his spending was like during that period, so on and so forth. I bet you the numbers don't lie. So I bet you his spending was crazy during those peaks and valleys. I'd love to see that shit and whatnot, or if any of that stuff could even be retrieved. But I'd love to see that shit. I'd love to be able to build a timeline and try to put all that together, or at least find the resources that would allow me to do so, to be honest. That'd be fantastic. That'd be absolutely fantastic.
I brought in more on Twitch than YouTube, but not by much. You know what I mean? Like, I brought in maybe...
Now we got to minimize shit to justify why we still need YouTube.
25% more income on Twitch than I did on YouTube, okay? But I still have a giant chunk of my income was YouTube ad revenue. So that being said...
And keep in mind, he was lying about the percentages, because yet again, if you go back to the secret limited Eddie B 43 situation, if I can find it, I'll try to put it in here. I'll try to. Don't hold me against anything, or if not, I'll try. I mean, the least I can do is try. If you look at what he was making on YouTube and you look at what he was making on Twitch, that's not 25%. But DSP will lie where it fits him to try to throw people off the scent. Amberlynn Reed and Foodie Beauty do the exact same thing. So, you know what I'm saying? Lol cows being lol cows.
I don't know what to do, you know, because I need to monetize.
Ironically enough, now that I think about it, let me bring this up now. Where I'm at currently in the timeline, Amberlynn Reed has been demonetized, but so has Foodie Beauty on her main channel. So now Foodie Beauty's trying to go over there on Twitch. Amberlynn Reed's trying to whore herself on fucking on Cameo, whatever it takes to feed the feeding addiction. That's not even really that important. It is, but it isn't, because now it's like, well, what are the reactors are going to do? Now, I'm pretty sure someone like Kinda Sav may have spoken on that. Big up to Sav. I'm pretty sure maybe she's spoken on it, but like it's interesting to see what the reactors are going to do, because a lot of them only go over Amberlyn Reed and Foodie, and if they're moving to different platforms, it doesn't mean they can't, grab what's going on over there and still go over it. But the ease and the convenience of it is no longer there. On top of that, excuse me, because both of these women, and I use the term loosely with that, because both of these women are compromised, right? The content's going to get boring. It's going to get watered down. It kind of has to by its nature until they figure out what they're going to do. So it makes you wonder what they're going to do. Because transitioning over, it's interesting watching this in Girl World. Some of them transitioning or trying to transition over to other girls, which most of the girls in Girl World have been demonetized, or trying to find other people to talk about, is going to be interesting when you're unfamiliar. Some of them I think are going to go in and they're going to be fine, but you can see a lot of hesitance that a lot of these other ones have. So they're just going at each other again, which is unfortunate. But we'll see how that goes, and I'll speak more on that as we go into 2026. But interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. Like I'll dedicate a video to it, I suppose. But it is interesting how all these years you had this whole demographic who was like, what are they going to do if they get demonetized? What happens if that one report does go through and they do get demonetized or kicked off the platform? And as they were speculating about all this, the content creators, the reactors, I should say in particular, I don't think some of them ever really thought about what they were going to do and how they were going to be able to transition and what moves they were going to make. So something to think about, not just from a lolcow standpoint, but from a reactor or a content creator standpoint when you're going over that stuff. You know what I mean? Now, don't be wrong. I'll go ahead and put it out there right now. A lot of them could transition into the tea community. They can get in the commentary. There's always somewhere to go. You know what I mean? But the ease of convenience won't be there. You're learning a whole new system. You're walking into a whole new community, and you step out of line, you can get fucked up. So, you know what I'm saying? Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to display some common sense, because you can get pushed out of a community in a minute. So hopefully some of them take some heed to that on whatever they do, because Amber is probably not going to be able to apply or reapply for between 30 and 60 days. Foodie's trying to fight her original one now. If that fails, then she's looking at 30 to 60. And if they do get back on YouTube, they're going to both be starving, figuratively and literally. And that might be when some of the best content actually happens. We'll see.
My YouTube videos, and I don't know how. Like, I mean, there's other options. Number one, I could create a new YouTube channel, and I could start uploading videos there, push everyone to the new YouTube channel, and then enable that YouTube channel with my working AdSense account. But you know what's going to happen. It's going to be like pulling fucking teeth, getting people to go from the old DSPGaming YouTube channel to the new YouTube channel. It's going to be an absolute nightmare.
And here's the thing. Like I said earlier on, YouTube, the DsPgaming channel already had diminishing returns. So would he be able to get the sub count needed, get the viewership needed to get it monetized? Sure. But now his failure, the results of those diminishing returns were going to be far more apparent. And I don't think he wanted people to see that. He didn't want people to see that. So that's why he kept pushing to stay on DsPgaming. It's interesting to think about.
To get people to go from one to the other. It is. It's just going to be a total nightmare. Okay?
And by the way, I don't know where the mods are, but I see a bunch of trolls in the stream chat who I'm now going to get rid of. I'm just going to ban.
So, here's the deal. And no, see, now people are spreading misinformation. Phil's AdSense got deactivated. No, the AdSense that I had was never activated. The AdSense that I had on DsPgaming was never valid. It was never working. I had to make a dummy AdSense account on that channel.
He literally broke TOS. And how did that not get him deplatformed? Baffles me to this very day. He just slipped through the cracks. He pig luck, the devil, whatever.
So that I could partner it with Curse. And I never really activated it or never ran an ad. There was no ad revenue owed to that account or anything. It's not that it got you know, your account was banned or whatever. I've got bad news. I told you if there was bad news, I would let you know.
Oh man, I missed the old Mr. Huff Stuff channel. I mean, hopefully Mr. Huff Stuff would just, maybe one day he'll just put all of his old stuff on his current channel, but he hasn't done that yet. Same thing with David Davison. I would hope that maybe he would put all of his old stuff on to his current channel, but you know, we'll see. One day maybe.
Because I'm an honest guy, and to be completely honest, I have nothing to hide. So I'm not worried about talking about this publicly because I've done nothing wrong. I got an email last night that Google has suspended my AdSense account. They're claiming there's been invalid click activity, and I 100% disagree. I know I'm innocent.
Please go to my
But did he appeal it though?
partner channel, The King of Hate HD, and click on the ads that show up on the videos there.
I have not violated any of their terms and conditions, and I appealed the decision. But what this effectively means is, as of right now, I'm pretty much unemployed again.
And so the appeal got denied, womp womp, and he never went back. He took that as the finalization and just kept moving. Yet again, feeding into why he was so desperate to go to Machinima after the blip situation fell through. Why he was so desperate to get on Curse. It kind of explains why he never tried to correct it. Because once he got denied the first time, he was like, well, what is Machinima going to do for me? What's Curse going to do for me? So he just let it slide. So what was his option? I had to break the law. I had to break TOS, whatever you want to call it. Yet again, it tells the tale of the tape.
First of all, to answer one question that everyone's been asking, that question on everyone's mind, because I just want to get out of the way, everyone's saying, well, Phil, and we all know...
I should try to track down that video. I'm pretty sure it's still over there. Because that channel still exists, so I may do that. That'd be fun. I could put that on the second channel, because we need to resurrect that.
That like this past weekend, your Google AdSense accounts got shut down, and therefore, we're not looking to do anything anymore on Google with participation. But why can't you just make another partner account? And the answer is you can't. I mean, sure, I could make a new channel, I could make all this new stuff, but the bottom line is this: you need a legal name and address, and if the business, a tax ID to register an AdSense account, and I've already done it once, and it's in Google's terms and conditions. Once one person does it once, if it gets suspended, you can never do it again. So I'm not going to falsify information and break the law, or it's not really breaking the law, we'd be breaking Google's terms and conditions basically to do it. I'm not going to do it.
So where'd the dummy account come from? And then, yet again, it shows you how much of a hypocrite he is. In the past, I'm not doing that, it's against the rules, it's that and the third. Years later, yeah, he did it, because why not? And he does that with everything. Every type of hypocrisy that or everything that he says he won't do, it's against terms of service, it's against his morals or values, whatever. Years later, he'll do it. Years later, he'll do it. It's just the way he operates. Like, doesn't have... Yet again, people say, well, not so much now, but people used to say, let's say it that way. Let me give some grace. People used to say he has pride. I've never seen it. I've never seen it.
That's not the kind of person I am, and it wouldn't be right. It wouldn't be right to try to fool their system into thinking I'm someone else so that I can try to make money again.
Unless his baby backs were on the grill and he had no choice, right? Unless he had no choice, right?
Makes no sense. Now, some people have said to me, I'll finish the video like this. They said, Phil, if you had a falling out with Machinima, you're not with them anymore, and you're not in a managed partnership, why on earth are you with another partnership company? Okay, why?
Oh, I'd love to go over that video again because, yeah, I'll put all that on the Fight Club channel. That's why I made it. I did it to go over old stuff. But yeah, I need to do that because boy, fun times to be had, man. Fun times to be had looking at all that shit now in hindsight, so many years later.
Because it's way different on YouTube. A lot of people now don't even go with partnership companies. They just go with Google AdSense or whatever.
Right.
Well, I can't not necessarily 100% answer the question. I think originally I did apply for Google AdSense on DsPgaming a long time ago. We're talking 2010. And I'm almost positive that it was denied because they said it was, at that point...
He didn't apply. We already know that he actually tried to appeal his initial ban. He didn't apply for shit. See how we ain't sat there and just that subtly, we bend the truth to our favor, or we spin it in the truth in our favor?
Gameplay related content, and therefore it wasn't monetizable. Now, I don't remember if that had something to do. If you remember, then I monetized my vlogging channel, The King of Hate HD, and within 2 months, YouTube shut that channel down and said that they found click fraud. And I was like, well, it wasn't me doing the click fraud. It was obviously other people, but I can't stop people from doing it. YouTube didn't care, and they shut down that channel.
But keep in mind, he did that under the pretense that he never asked people to click ads, when in actuality he did.
But I'm almost positive that was the same AdSense account that was associated with DSPGaming. So basically what I would have to do is set up a new AdSense account, a new everything, and try to start from scratch and get all that set up. Honestly, it was easier for me to just contact Curse. It's just, I think because they saw that, they said, oh, this is just a dummy account or an extra account. They froze the account. And because of that, now the channel can't get ads, which is stupid. If there's an invalid account associated with a channel, they should let you disassociate, like, click, oh, unlink it here. Link a valid account by clicking here. They don't do that. It just says, oh, because you have the invalid account, now you can't put ads on your videos, period, which is stupid.
Remember, all of his information is linked to the main account that's invalid.
That doesn't make any fucking sense at all, right? Do you want to play the fucking game?
That's ironic. You was like, you want to play the fucking game, right? Like, why won't they work with him? That's the same excuse he gave to Low Tier God. Oh, Low Tier God doesn't understand how this works. He won't play the game. He won't fall in line so we can make this work. Crazy stuff, man. Crazy.
Okay.
Shaky chair.
Really dumb. So, the bottom line is, I don't know what to do. I mean, here are my options. Here's what I'm thinking, okay? There's a few options that I can do. Number one, make a totally new YouTube channel. Alright, over the weekend I'll have to think about what it's going to be. Make a new YouTube channel, right? Brand it with new content, new stuff. Make videos for DSPGaming saying no more new content over here. This is an archive. Come to the new channel. Once the channel hits enough subs and enough followers.
Look at the desperation, boy. It's been a long time since you guys seen good days like this, at least for those of you who are around. Long time since you've seen desperation like this. Holy shit. Everything now is like a pale imitation, to be honest with you.
Followers, right? Link it to
Still amusing in its own way, though, but a flawed facsimile, if you will, or copy of what we used to have.
my AdSense account so I can monetize it, and then hope for the best. Hope that I can get enough people to migrate from DsPgaming over to this new YouTube channel, and that this YouTube channel will bring in some revenue for me, okay? That's one scenario, but I've done this before, and it is a fucking nightmare to do it. It's an absolute nightmare to get people to go from one YouTube.
How is it that you're as scrawny back then as you are now? The part that don't make no sense to me. Like, yeah, it's still fatty, but he's still scrawny. Like I said, weird type of skinny fat. Just weird, just very weird.
Channel to another, okay? It's just a nightmare. It's terrible, and I don't know, you know, what if it takes people.
And then there's the cope with his hair. I try to tell you all that too. He does that shit strictly out of cope. Just like how Wings will like rub his head or whatever to try to soothe himself. DSP does the same shit. It's a tism, or it's part of the tism.
3-4 months to realize that I'm on a new YouTube channel, right? And I don't know what to do. Okay, I just don't know what to do. That's number one. Number two, another option I could do is just say, screw it, I'm just not going to monetize my gameplay videos on YouTube anymore. All right?
He was never going to do that. That was never going to be an option. Ever. He was never going to do that. He just wasn't ballsy enough to do that.
And go all in on Twitch. All right? Now, that would suck because, like I told you guys, I support people who have supported me over the years on YouTube. It's the YouTube audience that made me who I am and gave me my internet notoriety and allowed me to do this for a living because they're the ones for 10 years have been watching my stuff, right?
Now, keep in mind what he's saying. He could easily still put the content up on YouTube. He just wouldn't be able to monetize it. Well, if he can't monetize it, he's not going to do it, so fuck all of y'all. Wild stuff.
Double dip. Am I in this for money? I mean, yeah, it's my job.
So, you know, it sucks because if I just do Twitch, let's say I just play games on Twitch and I leave archives on Twitch and I just let that go. Number one, I'm probably not going to make any money on the archives. The archives only have like one ad break that play. And like I said, ad revenue on Twitch is terrible, absolutely terrible compared to YouTube. So I know.
Which is crazy because people like Asmongold, Pokimane, Alinity, all those guys made crazy money on ad revenue. You know what I'm saying? Dan's Gaming, those guys make crazy money on ad revenue too. Don't get me wrong, donations carried the day, for sure, but they make crazy money. So how is it that DSP wasn't making shit on ad revenue, but everybody else was? How is that a thing? Something to think about. But now, coming off of post-Asmongold and probably post-stimulus package at this point, I think he's going to go back to Twitch because Asmon's like, yeah, I ain't made $100-something a year just off ad revenue alone. And that easily and sat there and got DSP snout in the fucking air. Like, wait, what? That's a thing? So, I mean, DSP will never make all that, but he might make a percentage of that. You know what I'm saying? And DSP has never really, to my recollection, if you will, give myself some padding here. He's never really tried to go deep on ad revenue. But then again, he never had the viewership for it. So womp womp. So it's supposedly, if like someone like Raw Phil, big ups, is such a problem, right? If Raw Phil is such an issue and is a scourge to Goutopia, then DSP might as well go to Twitch. Why not? I mean, once he gets his ass remonetized, of course. That's if he can do that.
Just by default, I know that it's not going to be anything significant, right? Number two, I'm going to have to rely solely on you guys on streams to be incredibly supportive. And what I mean by that is
constantly begging.
Yep.
Say goodbye to streams where I know that things aren't going to go well. Like, if I'm playing a game that I know is slow and people don't come out and support me, then I can't play that game. I have to.
Hey, you guys kind of see the method of my madness now? That's the reason why I want to choose it. Now, is this the first example of him saying that? No, not at all. But because of the desperation of the situation at the time, this is one of the earliest examples, not the earliest, but this is one of the earliest examples of him willing to drop games outright, wage quitting, if you will, to have his way. And wage quitting, by the way, is nothing more than punishment. Oh, you're not going to give me enough money to play this game? Fuck you, then the game gets dropped. Maybe you'll learn your lesson next month. That's all that is. That's all it ever was meant to be. Do what I want. You don't do it, you get punished.
Be doing stuff constantly where people are entertained to the point where they're going to be supportive on the stream so I can make money. I can't have unprofitable streams anymore. You know what I mean?
I love gaming. It's not about the money. It's not. I'm not here to take a paycheck.
And that sucks because I like doing a variety of content. I like being able to do the big AAA releases, but also the little other games that maybe aren't as popular, or going back and doing retro playthroughs instead of always worrying about what's the hot new game, right? Everyone right now is saying...
You don't hear anything about independent games, though.
Everyone's going to try out the new version of No Man's Sky, so Phil should do that. Everyone's playing Fortnite, so Phil should do that. I don't want to do that. I want to be the guy who can control his content and do what he wants to do and have fun doing it.
And missed out on all those trends. I mean, not to say that he would have been able to keep it. He may have gotten a boost, as DSP usually does, but he never could keep it. And that's the thing that, for some of you, and it's probably a very small demographic, I would guess, who get upset at DSP for when these different type of stimulants packages come his way or whatever, it doesn't matter that he gets it. It's whether he can keep it. And then on top of that, let's move further. Can he build off of it? And the answer is no. So it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. DSP gets 5,000, 8,000, it doesn't matter. It's going to be spent in a couple of days. Will he be able to get that next week? The week after that, et cetera, et cetera? The answer is no. And deep down, you know that. So then that immediately takes away any type of, I'm going to say, maybe not anger, but frustration. It is what it is. Most of you have been around these streets of Goutopia long enough. You guys have been in the overall vortex, if you will. You guys understand how Gout of Thrones work. Nothing good lasts long with DSP. DSP, he's never been appreciative of anything. And that's why things don't last very long. So there's nothing to get mad about or upset about or whatever. Myself included, because I've gotten mad at this shit too. Not so much over the years, but I've gotten mad at it too. So I'm just as guilty. Don't get me wrong.
But, you know, if I need to make up a giant chunk of money that I'm not going to be making on YouTube anymore, I have to make changes. I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? I don't want to become the bandwagon guy. I don't want to do that. You know what I mean?
Until he was forced to do it, and then makes it sound like, and then tries to justify why he did it, so he's not like everybody else. Big coward. Holy shit.
I'm just very, very nervous. So, no.
Oh, that's right. Another thing too, like SnortBucks really should get a lot of credit for some of the memes, because SnortBucks was probably one of the first people who talked about the hair dye shit long before it happened. That's kind of crazy if you think about it. And even if it was a prediction and not an observation, they were still right.
Number one, make a totally new YouTube channel, monetize that channel, and put all my videos going forward on that channel, but then trying to convince my viewer base on DSPGaming after 8 years that they need to move over, which is going to be very, very difficult. Real talk. Number two, just giving up on YouTube and making any money on YouTube, and instead of that, just focusing solely on Twitch and seeing what happens, but I don't know what's going to happen. I really don't know what's going to happen if I'm solely relying only on Twitch. And the thing is, I don't like putting all my eggs in one basket. I've done it before, and you see what
Still doing it.
happened when I had all my eggs in one basket for YouTube, right? At any moment, something could go wrong. I don't like that. I like having at least a diversified deal. So I don't know what to do, you know? I don't know what to do.
McDonald's. It just...
Holy shit. That's hilarious too, because you know the whole thing about put the fries in the bag, that meme, which has probably been around for a few years. SnortBucks was kind of ahead of the curve, being that, you know, they were talking about the McDonald's meme back in 2018. That's kind of crazy if you think about it.
This really sucks.
Big ups to SnortBucks.
Because I've done nothing wrong. Fuck you. You're a liar.
Yep.
That's your own fault. It's a lack of self-control, you know? I didn't lose my partnership with Curse because
Look at him subtly rocking back and forth. Holy shit. Starting to get seasick.
I did anything wrong. It had nothing to do with that. And my channel now not being able to be monetized, I didn't do anything wrong. Because if I had done something wrong, I wouldn't have had ads with Curse. It's some weird shit going on behind the scenes, right? That's screwed up. And I don't see any way to fix it. I'm solely reliant on YouTube finding a way to maybe approve the appeal.
Now that I think about it, I don't think he even brings up the situation with why he got kicked off of Curse till later. And that's when he tried to put it on the detractors, trolls, haters, and critics, which is interesting because if that was really the case, why didn't he front load with that, or why didn't he lead with that? And the reason why is because he couldn't figure out a way to market it. He couldn't figure out a way to sell it. And that tendency, that tism, is something that exists even to today, if you think about it.
Or, you know, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. By the way, hint, hint. McDonald's has now accepted my job application. This negative stuff is happening and I didn't create it. It's not like, oh, Phil did something wrong and now he's being punished for it. It's nothing like that at all. And this is what I mean. Like, this really sucks. All these situations I've been in recently is not a situation where Phil did something wrong, you know.
I'll fess up. You know, when I do something wrong on Twitch, I insult some guy on stream for his physical appearance, which I shouldn't do. Okay, I did something wrong. I'll take that. I'll take the punishment for that because I did it. You know, that's something that I lost my cool.
Wait, he says now that was some sissy bullshit that shouldn't have even happened, and because Twitch was too sensitive. Now, I forgot he had said that he actually owned up to it later on. He didn't do it right away.
It's not a situation where Phil did something wrong, you know.
I'll fess up. You know, when I do something wrong on Twitch, I insult some guy on stream for his physical appearance, which I shouldn't do. Okay, I did something wrong. I'll take that. I'll take the punishment for that because I did it. You know, that's something that I lost my cool.
Yeah, but he didn't do that originally, and he's changed that story since then, so womp womp.
And I did something wrong.
This is a situation where, once again, I've done absolutely nothing wrong whatsoever.
How do you admit to doing something wrong and then say, once again, I did nothing wrong? What the fuck?
And I'm getting punished like I did, you know? So, literally, what's happened is a revenue stream has now been cut out and stolen from me.
What
and the rest of the board goes unselected.
What the fuck? Are you fucking serious? And I've done nothing wrong. I didn't do anything to lose it. You know what I mean? Like, nothing was done wrong. I've been completely screwed over here by an automated system that doesn't work. I mean, it's so stupid. Why last year did I have to create a dummy AdSense account in order to even get a partnership with Kurt? Doesn't even make sense, right? It literally makes no fucking...
And that's his justification for breaking the TOS, because he felt like he was forced to do it. That's not going to hold up anywhere. And that's why his bullshit suing detractors, lawsuit nonsense, empty threats, empty snorts. That's just not going to hold up anywhere.
Sense that I had to do that.
And especially since his case... He's in that, and keep in mind, his suing nonsense, just in case you guys haven't thought about it, which I don't blame you, because don't waste your brain power on that shit. It completely and utterly is hinged on Ethan Klein in that case. But the circumstances aren't even the same. You know what I'm saying? DSP doesn't have a snark fucking Reddit and whatnot. He kind of sort of used to, but he don't anymore. He has no evidence or proof of any detractor, troll, hater, or critic on X, on YouTube, on Twitch, or on Kiwi Farm saying, watch this, don't watch this. He doesn't have any evidence of any of that. His case doesn't apply and whatnot. And despite what you guys may think about Raw Phil or anybody else, it's transformative enough. You know what I'm saying? To be perfectly honest. And that right there is kind of proven. It's kind of sort of. You're gonna have to walk with me on this for a bit, given what happened to Sargon in his situation a few years ago. Kind of, sort of. That was a clip, and then an entire stream were two different factors. I realize that, but still, you know what I'm saying. So at least in the, I don't want to say the spirit of the law versus the letter of the law, because now that starts to get murky. But still, if that was the case, he would have gotten Raw Phil out of pocket by this point. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is.
Really?
I like how you're laughing too.
Well, it's funny.
Oh, what happened to Supermodel Cat? What happened to those days? Wow. Well, See what pigs can do. Look at his nose. Like, anyway, I'm not gonna bring that up. That shit was always weird looking. Like fucking dude from the Smurfs. Whatever. You know what I mean. Gargamel. There we go. Nose look like Gargamel and shit. I mean, theoretically, he is morphing it. He looks like he is morphing in the Gargamel in some way, if you think about it. That's kind of crazy. You shouldn't laugh at that. That's me making fun of your husband. What's wrong with you, girl? You gotta stand by your man like that.
The Twitch streams have been great. But like I said, this month in particular, the Twitch streaming has been really good. And you guys have been very supportive, so thank you for that. But now I'm going to lose all my YouTube revenue. I mean, see what I mean? It's like every time there's a positive in my life, a big, nasty negative comes out of nowhere and negates it.
Karma, I don't know what to do anymore. This is ridiculous. And I can't not work. Like, people, oh, go get another job. That's not going to work. Any other job that I get will pay me less than what I do on the internet. It's true.
But if you're already losing money, isn't that still some type of supplement to it? You know what I mean? And don't be wrong, I've seen the logic. And people have talked about, Teplin's talked about this, where he's like, you know, the concept of telling him to go ahead and get a job doesn't make a whole lot of sense when he's making more money doing this than he would any other job. My argument, as well as many, was no one's telling him to quit this, but he could still get a job. You know what I'm saying? Tevin was streaming and making content and working. You know what I'm saying? For example, so why can't DSP do it? You know what I mean? There's a bunch of, I'd say almost every detractor has a job or a career and then does this shit on the side. So how is it that the rest of us can do it besides the fact that we're not functional retards? But like, you know what I'm saying? How is it, or functional alcoholics and everything else? But anyway, how is it that, you know what I'm saying, normal people can do that and he can't? What's his excuse or his reasoning? You know what I'm saying? Let him go ahead and get himself a part-time job stocking shelves or some bullshit, or a Walmart greeter, or put the fucking fries in the bag or whatever and whatnot. He can still do this. You think DSP is making really any more money streaming twice a day than he is streaming once a day? Matter of fact, that might be to his benefit. But the thing is he's such an ego fucking maniac, an egotistical maniac. He needs to be online as often as possible because he wants to be in the thick of it. That's all it is. Look at Wings. Look at how sporadic that asshole is coming on and off of fucking the internet and shit. He'll build himself up in his off time, and then, you know what I'm saying, he'll just jump online, and then once he gets brought down to size, then he jumps off. It is what it is. It's what he does. So, semantics.
Maybe some freakish thing will happen, and over the weekend, YouTube will review the situation and say, okay, the reason that your account can't get ads is because it has an invalid AdSense account on it.
I thought you said you weren't sure if YouTube works weekends. And you said they were more 9 to 5, but now you're saying maybe they'll review it over the weekend? Devil's in the details. It's all in the snorts.
You're saying it's a dummy account, we get that. What we're going to do is we'll disassociate your account from that, and then you can link your valid AdSense account and everything will be okay.
It'd be hilarious that all those times he said he was checking the emails or whatever, he was doing WWE champion pulls. That shit would be fucking hilarious if that was the case.
All right. But judging with the experiences I've had working with YouTube in the past, I don't think that's going to happen.
I swear people over the years think that, like, I'm so against having a regular job. I'm not. I had a regular job my entire life until I started YouTube as a job in 2011, all right? I'm the one who always seemed schizophrenic and chaotic, and I'm actually the ultimate schizophrenic. Why do you
Oh, what? Well, here, let's play it.
think I was laid off from my job, you know, in 2010? My whole life.
All right, let's go back. Let's go back.
Your account from that, and then you can link your valid AdSense account and everything will be okay. All right. But judging with the experiences I've had working with YouTube in the past, I don't think that's going to happen.
Look at how spurgy he is before the cut, of course.
I swear people over the years think that, like, I'm so against having a regular job. I'm not. I had a regular job my entire life until I started YouTube as a job in 2011, all right? I'm the one who always seemed schizophrenic and chaotic, and I'm actually the ultimate schizophrenic. Why do you think I was laid off from my job, you know, in 2010? My whole life. I did a regular job,
shit.
Whether it was an office job.
I don't know, if you think about that whole voices in his head thing, you know what I'm saying? That Beggy Orton thing we got not too long ago, I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. Shit's starting to really add up. Things are really starting to add up.
Sales job, fast food. I've always had a bank job. I've always had a regular job. And I'm not against that, but I know the situation I'm in is pretty much untenable at this point. If I get a normal job, I need to make a certain amount of money to pay my bill.
It was never about the money, because look at how nervously he's picking at his face and his neck and everything. He can't go back. He's socially and mentally compromised. It's anxiety and amongst other things and whatnot. His mental health was already in the drain, and he knew it. He couldn't get around normal people anymore. He didn't want to give up the power dynamic, amongst other things. You know what I'm saying? Like, talk to Steve the Dead. I'm sure he'll break that down for you. But big ups to him. But yeah, like he couldn't go back to a regular job. He can't be around regular people. Not anymore. Not anymore. That's why the food gets delivered to him. That's why they only leave his house once I don't even think they leave the house once a week anymore. The food's delivered, and if there's some place that they really need to go, like haircuts or something, or a doctor appointment or whatever, they probably go for that. Other than that, he's not leaving the house. He's too scared to. He's too scared to. And I think even if they do have a doctor's appointment, I don't even think he goes anymore. I think just Kat goes. She just goes to her own appointments, because why not? And then he may drag her along to his, and however few and far between that is. So he don't leave the house, and he hasn't. And the pandemic only back in 2020 only justified it. But in 2018, he's already, look at him. He's already squirrely back then. So, I mean, he may have done it for the first year or so to kind of sell the cat that he was normal and whatnot. But I would assume once the pandemic hit, he had all the excuses he needed not to go anywhere, not unless he had to. And that's when you see that heavy reliance on DoorDash and all that.
And I'm making it, or I was making it, doing this on the internet, right? The problem is things keep fucking me over, like every fucking year.
If I can't get ads back, I want to leave DsPgaming there as an archive forever. And the bright side here is that the channel is not gone. Last month, the channel was gone, and I got it back, which was great. So at least it's there.
The legacy is intact.
Yeah, that was pathetic when he was. Yeah, remember that when he was spouting about the legacy of DsPgaming? Sad, so sad. But then, what about the legacy of Darkside Phil, or the Darkside Phil YouTube channel, to be more specific? What about that? Now, that never gets brought up. That completely got memory hold. Look at that shit. What happened, Kat? What happened? What kind of let me be semi-serious here. What kind of psychological and emotional abuse did he put that woman through for her to balloon up twice her size? Damn near 3 times her size, really. That's crazy. That's really, really crazy if you take that into account. Like the emotional and fucking psycho and like mental abuse, excuse me, that woman must have gone through must have been insane if food was the only outlet. She's not getting dick down. You know what I'm saying? Even though life is a little bit easier, and then she has her little, her little side hustle job for a couple of days a week or whatever, she was clearly still miserable. And more importantly, she was isolated. Even if she did have friends outside of work, so to speak, bringing them home was probably not an option. And then she didn't have an outlet when she was at home. She had to listen to his bitching all day. That's why the dented zone is so good. So, like, take that into consideration, bro. That's crazy, man. But what if that was always the plan? What if the plan was to have her balloon up so she couldn't leave? You know what I'm saying? Cut her off from all of her social medias, stuff her face because you're depriving her physically and emotionally, and the end result is what it is, to make her or to have her further be dependent upon him so he could control her. Maybe I'm reaching.
That was good. It sucks I can't monetize the legacy, but the legacy's intact, right?
And the other bright side here is I have Twitch. It's not like, oh no, YouTube monetization's gone. I'm completely now screwed and I'm done. I have Twitch. I can continue to do what I love for a living. It's just, can I make enough doing it this way? You know what I mean? Can I make enough doing it this way in order to keep doing what I love for a living after 10 years, you know? So there are good things. So anyway, I'm actually going back and looking at all the videos on KO Gaming. The truth is that actually, in reality, not all the videos got demonetized, but every new video that I was uploading, I'm going to test it today. Here's what I'm going to do.
See, here's the thing about KO Gaming, and I've always felt like he lied, and because he's a liar, so why wouldn't he? He said that the reason why he couldn't do edited content on KO Gaming anymore is because KO Gaming got blacklisted. Never said it got demonetized. He said it got blacklisted. He has no proof of any of that. Here's the reality. After Homefront Revolution, he really thought every video after that was going to get exactly what that did. And it didn't. And it slowly declined. And he just lost the will to do it. He was like, why am I going to devote more time to this for diminishing returns when I could just front load everything onto DsPgaming and just let all that happen? And why would he do that, ladies and gentlemen? Well, the same reason why DSP Street Fighter was kicked by the wayside. He used to put all of his fighting game stuff on there. He went to Machinima for a contract negotiation or whatever. He, King of Hate Vlogs and DsPgaming were still making a good amount, but they said, hey, we're not, you can't make the same on DsPgaming as you're making on DSP Street Fighter. He said, why not? They said they couldn't justify the cost of it. So he's like, well, then fuck that channel. I'm just going to throw everything on DsPgaming. He says that they were like, oh, well, yeah, I guess that makes sense, which is not true. They would never tell him to do that. Why would you do that? Diversifying your content is a good thing. So you basically spamming the channel with even more slop is not going to help you in the long run. And I'm pretty sure someone tried to tell him that, but DSP didn't peep game on it, or he went with what he wanted to hear. And there you go. And that's why, you know, at one time there was like 70, 80,000 fucking videos on DsPgaming because of a fucking idiot. So, you know what I'm saying? KO Gaming fell by the wayside for the exact same shit. He thought that Homefront Revolution money was always going to be there. It was always going to be like that from there on out, even though he didn't do what needed to be done to build upon the momentum that was given to him. And so he just abandoned it. And then he just used the blacklisting thing as an excuse, because how could you disprove that it wasn't blacklisted? That's his thought process, at least the way I'm thinking. And so he ran with it. But then every time DsPgaming got in trouble, the channel, I should say, every time DsPgaming was in trouble, he immediately ran to KO Gaming. Well, that doesn't make sense if the channel's blacklisted. So make that make sense. Food for thought.
Since this is a good suggestion, someone said you have KO Gaming, you don't need a new channel. You're actually right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to upload my my archives to KO Gaming tonight, okay, and see what happens. Will they be demonetized or not?
They weren't demonetized. What he was crying about is he was only making like $10, $20 a day. He got mad about that. Fun times.
Find out. Let's take a look and see actually what happens when it comes to that, right?
The Spurgy idiot.
Bring your best.
Straight tism. Straight the fuck up tism.
Okay, this will be crazy. This will be the first time in almost a year I'm uploading to KO Gaming today.
Why is my chair shaking so much? Because I told you guys, I have restless leg syndrome, and when I get all nervous or worked up, it goes into hyper mode, which is doing right now. Both legs are shaking because I'm nervous about everything going on today. Obviously, real talk, you know.
It sounds like someone needs to be taken by the white coats. It sounds like someone needs to be in a padded room, if you ask me.
This could be a really bad financial thing for me. Or, like I said, maybe this is a positive thing. Maybe this is it. Maybe this is the kick in the ass to say, forget YouTube. Enough is enough. Just screw it, right?
He was never going to leave YouTube. He's not man enough for that. He's a coward. Cowards will always stick to what they know.
Apparently, there's a campaign to get my Twitter banned.
Oh my god!
How could you get my Twitter banned? I haven't done anything wrong on Twitter at all.
I'm good at lying.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm sure there's some beggy tweets going on around that time. And then all those spur gouts against people for different things because they had advantages that he didn't. They were the chosen few, the golden childs or golden children of gaming, and he wasn't. Womp womp. calling everybody shills and sellouts and liars and all that nonsense.
I've literally never done anything wrong on Twitter. How could they get it banned? All I do is I post up pictures of the movies I'm watching, I post up my daily schedule, right? And I advertise my streams, and every once in a while I'll do a random random tweet here or there that's usually cordial. Very rarely do I do anything on Twitter that's even considered, like, agitating.
That's so full of shit. Like, just look at what he did with the FGC and shit randomly over the last couple years. That blows that out the water.
So I don't even know what in the holy hell they could do to try to get my Twitter banned. That makes no sense at all to me. Diffusal Adore did a 601-bit cheer. He says, Phil supporting because here I care, but how does retraining yourself and getting a job in something new, Twitch won't last forever? Like I told you guys,
DSP doesn't have any marketable skills. He never really did, to be honest with you. He doesn't have any real marketable skills. That's kind of one of his problems going into the workforce. That's why pretty much at his age, whenever that may be, he has kind of no choice but to go in at entry level. Like, there's nothing that he's out of touch with everything. Like, his degree is worthless, to be honest with you. Amongst other things. He's just useless. Like, you know what I mean? He's just useless. And I think a day or two, and then he's right back to begging on YouTube. It's so much easier. He doesn't have no shame. He don't have no pride. So begging is the best thing he could do for himself. He can't get a real job anymore. He's past that. He's far past that. He doesn't want to go back to school. Not that I even think he's mentally capable of doing it anyway. You know what I'm saying? You guys have seen him try to assemble stuff over the years. You really think you could put a textbook in front of him and he's going to be able to get shit together without any real direction, without someone hovering over him, telling him every chapter, what to look for in that chapter, this, that, and the third? Fuck all that. No, not at all. He's way past that. He was way past that then. He's even more past that now. Which is funny because he's at the age now where people switch careers. People are willing to go back to school, trade school, or even community college and start over. Not DSP, though. Not Philip Paul Burnell.
The problem here with doing that is I don't know if I doubt, first of all, I'd even be able to get a job. There's so much slander about me on the internet right now. Crazy amounts of slander, okay? The first things that come up when you search for me on the internet, DSPGaming Know Your Meme, DSPGaming on Wikitubia, which is
it's so much worse now. Remember, this is 2018. It's so much worse now.
False information, although some of it's fair.
Oh, it's false information, but some of it's fair. Let's bring that back. It's false peak game. It's false information, but some of it's fair. Which one is it? It can't be both.
I don't know if I doubt, first of all, I'd even be able to get a job. There's so much slander about me on the internet right now. Crazy amounts of slander, okay? The first things that come up when you search for me on the internet, DSPGaming Know Your Meme, DSPGaming on Wikitubia, which has false information, although some of it's fair, an article about me from 2012, the Lol Cow Wiki.
Wow.
Which is awful, and no one should ever fucking look at it. But it comes up as
it's crazy that his Kiwi Farms thread wasn't in like the top 2 or 3 finds back in those days. That's wild. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what it was in 2018. In 2019, for sure, you could if you looked up DSPGaming or Darkside Phil, his Kiwi Farms thread came up for sure. It was easily in the top 3. Fucking A, bro. And definitely in 2020. Crazy stuff, man. Crazy stuff.
The 5th search thing, and then you start getting, you know, videos of my accident.
You mean the incident? Now it was called the accident back then, huh?
He was the guy that got caught masturbating in front of children.
It's the guy watching his Twitch.
Is that really him? Is he the one that got caught, Matt?
Yes!
Really? You know, from 2 years ago, like, everything on there is like, you know, we would read it and be like, man, you know, look at this stuff. You know, and a lot of it is slander. You know, a lot of it is just slander bullshit. It's not true. Or it's taking something out of context.
It was slander, it's not true, or it was out of context. Oh my god.
Fuck that, Phil. You are a dirty, rotten liar.
Yep.
So now, how do you expect, you know, me to pass any kind of a background check for a job outside of something on the internet? You know what I mean? Like, who on earth is gonna hire me in real life to do a job when
McDonald's, Walmart, Burger King, I'm sure one of the 3 will take you. I mean, until your hair starts falling out and landing in people's burgers and shit, then that's gonna be a problem. But I mean, shit, if Cobra can get fucking hired at Walmart, not Walmart, where was Cobra at? Wendy's. If he can get fucking hired at Wendy's, I'm sure someone will hire you eventually.
And the first thing you do when you go on the internet is see all the shit. You see what I mean?
That's your fault.
Yep.
You're the one who created that economic situation. You created the monster.
Mhm.
You unleashed the monster. And now your complaint is, well, the monster's too powerful to control. Well, fuck you. That's your fault. That's your fault. You created that business model. You created a flawed business model, and now you're saying there's nothing you could do about it? No, it's your business. It's my fault. Yeah, everything's always my fault. You're right.
And people think it's funny, you know?
It is.
No, Omniscient says they wouldn't Google DSP. I didn't Google DSP. I just searched for my real name, Philip Burnell, and all that's the first shit that comes up. Because that's years and years and years of organized slander and organized defamation have made it that this entire net presence about me is disgusting. I'd have to move to another country and do something not internet related in order to get a job. I'm serious, you know?
You know they do background checks in other countries too, right, Phil? All right, maybe you don't. Whatever.
But that's what happens when you're a hypocritical douchebag on the internet. What else can I say? I mean, these people don't want to ever look in the mirror.
Jesus Christ, there are people in Mexico, right? There are American citizens who lived in Mexico who were able to find out about Ralph. So that doesn't protect you from shit, bro. What the fuck are you talking about? Like Foodie Beauty or Salah, I can't remember which one, but one of them had speculated that they had found out about who at least Foodie Beauty was because, yet again, they found her ass on the internet. Actually, I know they did. Matter of fact, Sav might know what I'm talking about. But or some of you might know what I'm talking about too. She was at a cafe. This is when she was still in Kuwait. She was at a cafe or she was at a bistro or something. She was eating outside, and random people just walked up on her, and they were like, "You're Foodie Beauty. You're Foodie Beauty. You're this. You're that. Yada 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 yada." Quickly found her looked her up on Google, found her, took some pictures with her, whatever. They found her just that quick, and that's in the middle fucking East. There's nowhere you can go where people can't find you.
You're at themselves. They just want to criticize others. So
that's what I mean. How on earth would I get a job? Imagine if I went and I applied for a job at any of the cool Amazon. I applied for a job at Microsoft. I applied for a job at.
Yeah, I would never trust you to handle packages, Phil. That's never going to be a thing.
Boeing. Those are the three big employers out here. The first thing they do is go to the internet and search for me and go, "What the hell is all this?" And then they get lost in the fucking black hole. You see what I mean? So it's not going to happen. It sucks. It absolutely sucks because of all the shit that these kids have done. These kids.
No, you wanted to take the easy way out. You're paying the consequences for it. It is what it is.
Who think that it's all funny games and trolling have literally destroyed my chances of getting a good job outside of the internet.
And the thing is, you can tell that life ruination is not in his vocabulary. That's the reason why he's never used it. Because he could just say that. It doesn't apply, but still. He could, well, nah, I'm going to say no. I say life ruination applies to wings probably more than DSP. But whatever. But he's never used that. And it makes me think the reason why is because he doesn't know what it is or he's never heard it. It's certainly not in his vocabulary. Because if not, he would always use it. I don't think he ever has.
Why on this planet do we have to always play the blame game?
And then on top of all that, like I said, what are the chances that I will get a job with a starting position that pays good money, right? That I would be okay with, you know, and it makes up enough money to.
Why do you feel that you're deserving of that? Like that's maybe we should ask well, he should ask himself that, I should say. What warrants you being able to get a high-paying job? Like, why do you think that's owed to you? Something to think about.
Cover YouTube, what YouTube was making me. Oh, by the way, plus I need to still somehow make as much money as I was making on Twitch. It's not going to happen. You see what I mean? And by the way, good suggestion. Someone said you should. Oh, John said you should disable comments already on KO Gaming because you know the first thing that's going to happen is people are going to.
Well, that's interesting. Right? Because DSP, I think only recently talked about him disabling, well, in the last few months, has talked about when he disabled comments on DsPgaming. As far as I know, no one brought up when he started disabling comments on KO Gaming. And that's because it's one of those little things that fell through the cracks. You're not going to find that unless you actually know where to look. So, you're welcome. Yet again, one of my many gifts to you. But this is when he disabled the comments on KO Gaming. Which is funny because he didn't learn a lesson that the loss of engagement on DsPgaming wasn't a good idea, but he went ahead and did it for KO Gaming because he's a bitch, because his ego means more than money, even though he's literally begging for money.
Try to go over there and just be nasty. You're absolutely right, and I'm doing that right now. I just did it. I just got rid of comments. So there you go.
Celebrate.
Imagine that. Imagine fucking this is how you don't play beats out any residual minute fucking amounts of money that he could make off KO Gaming. It was that much more important that no one could go over there and mock him, more than getting the engagement and try to push the videos along. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, earlier on in this video, obviously I'm long-winded, but early on in this video, he threw out the idea of, hey, maybe I just start a brand new channel and try to get people to go from one place to another. Was he going to disable the comments on a brand spanking new channel? How far do you think that would take him? Food for thought.
Tory toast. Everyone, if you have a drink, raise your glass with me, or your can, or your chalice, or your flute, whatever it is that you may drink from. Let's have a celebratory toast of being done with that fucking shit.
Back when he was drinking those, was those Mountain Dew Kickstarters, I think is what it was.
Salud. What pasta do you prefer? I prefer a penne. Oh! Easy to eat. Oh! Phil's a faggot. Phil's fat. Phil's a loser. Phil's a beggar. Phil's a racist.
Shit.
Phil's a scammer. DSP's a pedophile.
Yep.
DSP is a thief.
Yep.
DSP is a greedy fuck.
Yep.
This guy's a bitch.
Yes, he is.
I have a micro penis.
Well, Panda and Cat have kind of confirmed that.
Alright, I'm not dead, but I swear to God, I wish I fucking was.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. All right, I know what I'm doing with this, with the Fight Club channel next year. We're gonna go way back through some of all this old shit. That'll be fun and whatnot. That'll be fun. I can fit that into the schedule, so that works out exponentially. That'll be fun. That's what we'll do. That's what we'll do. Holy shit. All right. So there you guys go on that. Big ups to Snorper now and whatnot. I guess you could say this is me being welcomed home, if you will. Fun times. I'm glad I was able to do this. That was fucking crazy, bro. Fucking crazy. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So that's our another day of Goutmas in the books, if you will. I won't hold you guys up any longer. Thank you very much for listening in. Hopefully your season's going well, your holiday season's going well and whatnot, and we'll see you tomorrow. A couple SnortBucks in hand and more laughs to be had. Like I said, some new, some old. So we'll have some balance in there, and we'll go from there, and we'll see what's what. I appreciate your guys' time as usual, and like I said, from everybody here, thank you guys very much and whatnot, and take care of yourselves, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow and whatnot. For better or worse. For better or worse. Take care of yourselves, people. Later.